Hello, my dear students. I hope you are all safe in your native places. In this pandemic situation, we should not stop learning. We have to learn. By keeping that concept in mind, today I am going to start online classes for all the BSc 4th semester students of our Sri Siddheswara Nargunda First Grade College. Dear students, as per Karnataka University Dharwad chemistry syllabus, the first chapter for fourth semester student in chemistry is nuclear chemistry. Today I am going to discuss that. Before going to discuss what is nuclear chemistry and what are the concepts we are going to discuss under that, we must know why we have to study nuclear chemistry. Because before going to learn anything, one must know that why we have to discuss that chapter. So what is the significance of that concept to the humankind? You must know all these things. Once if you know the really know why we have to discuss nuclear chemistry, it's really exciting, curious. So it creates interest upon you people. That's why, dear student, in the first class, in the beginning, I would like to discuss the importance of nuclear chemistry or why we have to study nuclear chemistry. We just look at here. You just look at this picture. So this is an atom. You know, an atom made up of electron, proton and neutron. So still even some elementary particles other than electron, proton, neutrons are there, but we are going to discuss later. If we consider atom, so far we studied that atom contain nucleus. So, in which protons and neutrons embedded into it, and electrons are revolving around it. Okay, if you consider this small dot, you observe this small dot is a nucleus and electron is occupy such a large volume. If you consider, we can compare the atom to a cricket stadium. If you consider the cricket stadium is the volume of an atom. In that, so this is the volume of an atom. In that, if you place the cricket ball exactly at the center of the stadium, that is nucleus. That is the volume of the nucleus. So in such a small volume, the protons and neutrons are exist. This is the concept we studied. That is, nucleus contains protons and neutron, and these are commonly called as nucleons. And these nucleons are present in nucleus in such a small volume compared to the volume which is occupied by the electron. But my question to all of you is, so in such a small volume, in this dot, the positive proton and neutral charge neutrons are exist. Okay, you just see the nucleus here. They are such a small, okay, they are present. So the distance is 10 to the power of minus 15 meter. This is the dimension of a nucleus. So in such a small volume, the positive atoms are exist near. You look at the picture here, the positive charges are nearer. But we also know the fundamental law of charges. It says that similar charges are repel each other and opposite charges are attract each other. This is the fundamental law of charges we discussed. We know very well. We are well familiar with the law. But if we apply the law to the nucleus, somewhere it is failed. So these protons, okay, for everyone a question arises, how the nucleus exist, how the proton present in such a small distance. So is there any repulsive force? Yes, there is a repulsive force. So in one side, so the law telling that opposite forces are attract each other, similar charges are repel each other. But in another side, in such a small volume, in such a very small distance, the protons are stay together. You just look at here, the protons are stay together in such a small distance. So how these protons, even though they have similar charges, even though they have repulsive force, how they are exist? The answer for the existence of a nucleus, the stability of a nucleus, in spite of electrostatic force of repulsion between the like charges like protons, in such a small distance, how it is exist, how it is stable. This can be the answer for the stability of a nucleus can be understood with the help of nuclear chemistry. And you might have observed in many cases, in many places, that the places they're restricted, the entry is restricted, you cannot go to that places. Why? Because that in that area they're reserved, okay, it is contain some radioactive elements. If you look at the periodic table, we have 118 element. Among 108 element, more than 35 elements are radioactive in nature. You know radioactivity. That is, some elements emits radiations spontaneously. So without any external influence, force, spontaneously they are emitting radiation. So up to 92 there are natural elements, and after 92 there are artificial elements. In the periodic table, the element which are in dark green boxes, so these are all radioactive. Rest of them are non-radioactive, and these are radioactive in nature. So here my question to all of you is, so why some element, few elements are radioactive? Why not all 118 elements do not emits radiation? Why only certain elements emits radiation? What is the reason for that? So what is the phenomena which is taking place in the nucleus? So the question is, the answer for radioactivity, the reason for radioactivity, the reason behind radioactivity of an atom can be understood with the help of the nuclear chemistry. In order to understand the reason for what radioactivity, so we have to study nuclear chemistry. Next is, you just look at this picture. In this picture, the dinosaurs, you know dinosaurs, which are exist more than billion years ago, they are exist on the earth. Here the two male dinosaurs are conversing between them. So what they're talking is, so I think this is a female dinosaur and this is a male. Two male dinosaurs are conversing that. So the two male dinosaurs are conversing, they are telling that she's lucky, no one's invited carbon dating, then we would have see just how old she is. What do you mean? That means carbon dating is not invited yet. Suppose if they have invited, if they have discovered, so we can identify her age, what they're telling. So nowadays, dear students, you heard in some of the news that peoples are going to identify age of the dinosaur which is existed billion years, 1 million years ago, and peoples are now in science with the help of this carbon dating technique, we are going to identify the age of fossil fuels. These trees exist thousands years ago. This animal died 2000 years ago. This man died 200 years ago. Exactly, they are going to calculate the age of that fossils, the age of dead tree and dead animals with the help of carbon dating technique. So how one can identify the technique? So it can be easily understood by with the help of nuclear chemistry. It's the great contribution of the carbon dating technique is the great contribution of nuclear chemistry to the field of science and technology and to the field of archaeology and history to determine the age of fossil fuels. And you see this picture, dear students, some radiations are falls on the human body. So this is nothing but So we heard that radiotherapy. Nowadays, radiotherapy is a famous therapy which is used to treat cancer. So chemotherapy, and if chemotherapy is not work out, then the people switch over to radiotherapy. That means they're supplying some radiations, so which is emitted from radioactive elements. So we can cure the cancers. We can cure the cancers. So this mechanism can be understood, these applications, how the radiations emitted from the elements and how it's going to kill the cancer tissues and cancer cell. So this is application, and this can be understood with the help of nuclear chemistry. And next one, you just look at, I think you are well familiar with this reaction, SN mechanism. In organic chemistry, we used to write mechanism for every reaction. So what is mechanism we understood so far? Mechanism is nothing but it is the detailed study of a reaction, step-by-step study of a reactions. This step-by-step study of a reaction so can be studied with the help of these radioactive isotopes. So this is a great contribution. We can understand the mechanism, we can trace the movement of atoms in biological systems, we can use the radioactive elements for uh, NMR, that is nuclear magnetic imaging technique and all. So it has a lot of contribution to the human society. And so along with the applications, we can understand some wonders of natures, some wonderful phenomena like how nucleus is stable in such a small volume, and why some elements emits radiations, simply spontaneously emits radiations, and what are the beautiful applications of these nuclear chemistry. All these things so can be understood with the help of this chapter. That's why, dear students, before going to learn any chapter, we must know why we have to study the chapter, what is the importance to the humankind. You must learn these things, then only it create curiosity, and then you can move forward very easily. Then you can learn the things. Whenever if you connect the concept to the applications and reason, it is going to stay in your mind for very long time. So once again, dear students, we have to study nuclear chemistry in order to understand the stability of a nucleus, in order to understand why some elements emit radiation, in order to understand the beautiful applications like carbon dating and mechan this radio applications of radioisotopes in the field of medicines, in the field of medical, like treatment of cancer, and in the field of organic chemistry, in order to elucidate, in order to write the mechanism. People are going to confuse that. So nuclear chemistry, the inorganic chemistry, how nuclear chemistry is related to organic chemistry, and what is the relationship between our reaction mechanism and isotopes and all. See, this is a beautiful connectivity between nuclear chemistry, that is isotopes, and mechanism. So this can be understood how the mechanism of a reaction can be understood with the help of these isotopes. In order to understand all the things which I have said, we must learn nuclear chemistry.